All right, guys. Today we have former Fuk Ching gang member turned NYPD detective. He has a book out right now called Bad to Blue. He runs the YouTube channel Chinatown Gang Stories. Mike, how you doing today?
Good, good. Good to be here. Panda Chop.
I appreciate you, man. It's an honor to have you here today. I've been watching your stuff for a long time, and I love seeing you on all these other platforms. So I just feel so grateful to be blessed with your presence today.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us the story of how your parents came to America and what part of China they came from?
My father came from Taiwan. He was a paper son. So basically, he was passed on to another family under a different last name. He was brought over to America to leave poverty because also around that time there was the Cultural Revolution. So there was a lot of turmoil in China during that time. So he came in around 1946. That's when he came to the U.S. And my mom, she's also from Taiwan, but she went to Hong Kong at an early age, and she came to the U.S. at around the age of 16, I believe. Yes.
Wow, because your dad, he came here very young, right? So like he grew up in American culture, technically.
He came here at the age of 7, and he doesn't really speak Chinese.
Wow. Okay. So he
And
was very Americanized then.
very Americanized. He speaks English without the Chinese accent. Okay, so if you speak to him on the phone, you wouldn't know that you're speaking to a Chinese person. As opposed to me, I do have an accent because I grew up in Chinatown, and when I was in my early teens, I was hanging around, with some of the gang members, and that's where I picked up my Cantonese from. So I do speak with an accent, and I didn't speak any English until I was in kindergarten when I entered elementary school.
So inside the household, right? Was it a very traditional household? Like, did your dad speak to you in Chinese, or it was more like he just spoke to you in English?
I rarely ever see my dad. He was sort of like an absentee father, just like most Asian families back in those days when they had to come to the U.S. and they struggled. So everything went through my grandmother and my mom.
Mm. Okay. And so you're originally living in Chinatown in a small apartment with 11 people, right? Which is
Yes.
just wow. Like, and you've described it where it's like one of those old apartments where there's like only the room at the end has a door. The other ones are covered with curtains, basically.
Yeah, those are what you call the railroad apartments. I don't even think they have it anymore in Chinatown because what they do now is they renovated all the apartments and they make it into like a front and rear sort of thing, like a front and rear apartment. They broke it up, I guess, to get more rent.
Are you guys living in the room that has a door, or you guys are in the other ones with the curtain?
No, the ones that has the door was reserved for my two uncles, and then the one with the curtain in the middle was for my grandmother, and then the one towards the living room was for my other uncle. I had 3 uncles, and then everyone else slept in the living room on the floor with the
Wow.
bamboo
So
mats. With bamboo mats. I don't know if
bamboo
that,
mats too, which is not cushiony. It's not comfortable at all. It's basically sleeping on the floor.
Yes. Yeah. It's to cool you off in the summertime.
So it's your mom, you, and your dad, and your sister, and then your grandma, your uncles, and some aunts too, right?
Yes. Yes. My aunt. Yes. My aunt-in-law, and yeah, my 3 uncles. A lot of people.
Yeah. So you grew up in Chinatown till about the age of 5, and then you end up moving across the bridge to Brooklyn, right? Because you're growing up in Manhattan, Chinatown at the time.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you move to escape the gang violence in Chinatown,
And
right?
back in the 70s, right? I mean, the gangs were feared by almost all the residents of Chinatown. They had them in fear, especially if you read the book In the Ghost Shadows by Peter Chin, Kid Sai. The ghost shadows made a lot of noise in Chinatown during those times, and a lot of the families who were able to had the means to make it out of Chinatown, they do anything they can to make it out of Chinatown. Especially like I keep hearing stories even back then, um, how my family would like huddle up in the living room and afraid that my uncles would get caught up in the gang life because they were around that age, that's susceptible to the gangs. They were afraid that they were going to force them into the gang or recruit them into the gang. And yeah, they tried everything to avoid that. They got a job, they worked long hours, and they were hardly home. And that's what everybody did. Um, so I moved out, my family moved out of Chinatown when I was at the age of 5, but then I still go back every weekend religiously. Saturdays, Sundays, I'm there for the my Chinese classes. I went to Chinese school on West Street. Yeah, and that's that. And also to visit my grandmother who still lived there. And it was like a family tradition. We'll always go every weekend to Chinatown to visit my grandmother. Even though when I stopped the Chinese school, we still went to visit her until she passed away around 2018, I believe.
Well, rest in peace to her.
Yes.
But you grew up in Chinatown. It's like insulated, right? It's like Chinese culture. You could live there without even learning English. Basically, it's like the country within the country you've described before. So you're going
Yes.
from that and you're moving to Brooklyn, which is totally different. It's like, I'm sure, like a culture shock for you at that time.
It was because I felt different. Like I was like the only Chinese kid in my class throughout all those years, all the way up until probably middle school, high school. Maybe they were like one of the Chinese kid in my class. There weren't too many of us.
Was it mainly black or were there like a lot of like white kids too?
Mainly white kids and Hispanic and a few blacks, but mainly white kids. It was around Kings Highway. So you have the Kings Highway boys over there, which is a gang of white kids, and then you have the Avenue U boys, which is a couple of blocks away.
Also, this is during the time where like it's like mainly Italians are living in that area of Brooklyn before the blacks moved in heavy, right?
It was mostly Italians and Russians.
Got you. Okay.
And Jewish.
And you're growing up there, in the mid 70s into the crack era, pretty much the 80s.
Yes.
Okay. So what are you seeing at that time in Brooklyn as a kid when you're walking the streets of Brooklyn? Help paint the scene for us.
Paint the scene for you? Okay. The scene during the 80s. You're walking around Kings Highway. Of course, you got the group of white kids. They called themselves the Kings Highway boys. They used to hang out on Kings Highway by East 16th Street. And there's always a group of them. They always hang around in a pretty big group. You're talking about maybe 6 to 8, 10 around there. And the shopping malls, the movie theaters, they always travel in a pack. And I remember those days. They like to one or two of them walk around in canes, even though they don't need it. But You know why they walk around with a cane, getting ready for a fight. Okay, so like I would see them in the malls, and a lot of times I would get bullied by them and get chased by them. It was me and this other white kid, my study partner from school. Um, One time got chased by them with a baseball bat. They jumped out of the car and they chased us. And I was like basically running for my life. And so that's a scene that I'm painting for you as as a Chinese person, Chinese kid walking around in a white neighborhood. I mean, I wasn't a threat to them, but they just like to bully the weak, I guess. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling. Maybe that's what attracted me to join the gang because around that time, it just so happened that the uh, the Fuk Ching gang just formed and they needed members for that gang, and they had a daima, Cambodian Peter was doing some recruiting over there. That's what he was sent to do in Brooklyn to start a Brooklyn faction, and it wasn't too long before there were more incidents that happened with some of the white kids. And, some of them I could talk about and some of them I won't talk about. But one of the incidents is one of our members shot and killed one of them. So he wound up doing 21 years for that, a full 21 years. Yeah.
Wow. Was the neighborhood riddled with drugs at this time during the 80s because of the crack era?
Yes. Yes. Especially during the late 80s, 90, 91, around that time. Yeah, there were a lot of crackheads around. A lot of them from the poorer neighborhood around where I lived. And you could see that they're crackheads. I mean, one time there was a guy who was high on drugs, and you could tell he's high on drugs. I mean, anyone who, even if you don't do drugs, you could tell he was high on drugs. He was wide-eyed, bug-eyed, and he was just pointing to me. It was like sort of like a road rage type of thing, but I didn't do anything to, anger him. And he kept chasing me for, I would say, for at least like 20 blocks. Just kept chasing me, and I was just running every single red light I can. And at that time, I had a car service business, so I radioed for all the other cars to converge on him. And when he saw that, then he just took off. So a lot of people were high on drugs at that time. And one time, this guy jumped into my car, and I could tell he needed a hit. Like I was gonna get robbed in the car. And that time, I guess, I got laxed, and usually for someone to creep up on me like that, I didn't even expect it. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even see it coming. And I believe it was in my book as well. I'm not sure if you read about it. All the details are in there. So I got out of that one alive, because he had his hand in his pocket. So whether he had a knife or a gun, and I didn't know. But luckily, the cops were right there at the right moment at the right time. So it was pretty bad. I mean, the drugs during that time affected every neighborhood, whether it's rich or poor. Every neighborhood during that crack epidemic.